Hello, everybody. Welcome back for another video. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. Do not forget to leave a comment on the video. It's a great way to help out my channel's algorithm. Let me know what coins you're buying. Let me know what you're doing. What are you up to? How's life? What's the haps? What are you eating tonight? What did you have for breakfast? What did you want to have for breakfast? Where do you think you're going in the next couple of days? There's always a lot of stuff happening for people, so just makes sense. Yeah. Very big thank you to everyone who leaves a like on the video as well. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. We have officially been thrown into insanity mode within this market. If you could provide me with proper answers as to exactly what's going on, I'd be incredibly grateful. We have been talking about, so the bull run is expected to be massive. It is expected to be kicking off September, October, that kind of time frame. We've gone over it before, yada, yada, yada. It's namely because of the amount of support that Ether is currently getting. It's not like, so long story short, basically a couple of companies have announced that they're going to be creating Ethereum treasuries. I'm expecting over the short term that we're going to hear from more companies who announce the same. The problem is that these companies they're sounding a little crazy because they've basically announced previously, if you missed it, that they want all of the ether. Like, they're basically currently working on accumulating as much dollars as they can to be able to just buy massive amounts of ether. This is, once again, the portion of the news where everyone's like, the bull run's going to be crazy because if ether does a 3-4x in price, altcoins are going to do the exact same thing. One of the companies who we spoke about 2 weeks ago, they're called Bitmine, like Bitmine. The weirdest part of all of it is that they were a Bitcoin mining company. Yeah. So we've, oddly enough, had a cluster of Bitcoin mining companies recently announcing that they are completely done with Bitcoin and they're moving over to Ether, and or they've been acquired and their now main focus is also only Ether as well. Bitmine, apparently in a very short amount of time, has announced that they are the biggest public company with the largest amount of Ether in the universe, in the literal universe. It says this valuation marks a significant $2 billion increase from the $2.9 billion worth of Ether Bitmine reported holding just 1 week prior. Ethereum is a lot easier price-wise to acquire than it is Bitcoin by magnitudes. So it looks like these companies, and I mean, we only have a handful of them, like you can count the amount on your hand, one hand. If we get 10 more companies like this, there's going to be no Ether left on exchanges because they're buying a lot of it. The company initiated its dedicated ETH treasury strategy on the 30th of June, with the transaction closing on the 8th of July. In the 5 weeks since launching the strategy, Bitmine explained it has rapidly scaled its holdings. We haven't even heard, I think this is the Tom Lee company, if I'm not mistaken. We haven't even heard of the Joseph Lubin company. That one's also, they're also buying hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin all the time. The $4.96 billion in Ether, combined with other crypto assets, pushes Bitmine's total crypto treasury value beyond $4.98 billion. This positions Bitmine as the third largest holder of cryptocurrency assets globally, trailing only behind MicroStrategy and Marathon Digital. Concurrently, Bitmine's stock has become one of the most actively traded around the world. It says in the US, no. Remember the crypto companies last year who announced that they were getting into Bitcoin, they were buying Bitcoin, they liked Bitcoin, their stocks skyrocketed. These are exactly the same. I think there's only one company, and I think it's a GameStop. I believe actually that GameStop is the only cryptocurrency buying company whose stock hasn't done like a 7, 8, 9, 10x in price, if not more, comparative to all the other companies. This liquidity, so and so. I guess you're just talking about the company now. Yeah, it's Tom Lee. Tom Lee, chairman of Bitmine's board, highlighted the speed of accumulation. He said, and I quote, "In just a week, Bitmine increased its ETH holdings by $2 billion, lightning speed in the company's pursuit of the alchemy of 5% of ETH." That would literally mean, so the other dystopian part for those of you who don't know, companies are, so remember we had before, companies were like, I want 1 Bitcoins, I would like 7, that kind of thing. And then the numbers jumped to being like, we want 1,000 Bitcoin, we want 10,000 Bitcoin. The new mantra is now we want 1% of all the Bitcoin in some form or fashion. So similar to, what are they called? Metaplanet. Metaplanet wants 210,000 Bitcoin. Companies are slowly beginning to announce, first of all, that's dystopian AF, excuse my French. Simply because that would even if there were all the Bitcoin up for grabs, that would literally mean 100 companies alone would own all the Bitcoin. So a lot of companies are now announcing that they want 3, 5, or 7% of an entire asset. We've heard that once or twice for Bitcoin. But these Ethereum companies, they're announcing it, just completely, like, I'm going to go for a walk, like as simple as that. If they have 5% of all the ETH, and they're going to want more, it would only take 20 companies. Yes. Imagine if you took all the Ether that there was, and you have 8 billion people on the planet, and only 20 companies owned all the Ether. This is where we're currently going, and they're not far off. A lot of these companies are holding it took weeks. They're holding hundreds of thousands of Ether, and many of them have already crossed the 1 million Ether line. He emphasized leadership in new crypto, blah, 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 blah. Their strategy is they just want a lot more money. This, of course, made an enormous amount of news. For those of you not looking at the screen, this is an article from Yahoo Finance. Bitmine now officially has over 1.15 million Ethereum coins. Yeah, I know. So this was weeks. It didn't take them a very long time. If I remember correctly, I think Bitmine also announced that they're trying to raise, like in dollars, I think 20 or 30 times the amount of money that they currently have in Ether. I repeat that once again. They have already announced, if I'm not mistaken, That I think they're trying to raise like a huge amount of money, which would basically give them 12, 13, 14 million ether by the beginning of October. Like think about that. So as I've said before, these acquisitions are very weird. If you are new here and sometimes you don't understand the words that I say, just listen, listen. This is all very odd. We've never had this before. The way that all these companies are working in tandem to buy up all these coins is very alarming. The public does not have enough crypto. Normal people do not have any crypto. So in order for these ecosystems to actually succeed, we actually need normal people to also be here as well, and not just very wealthy companies. So, yeah, I give it, realistically, I really give it 4 or 5 weeks, if not less, like actually less, that they'll probably have raised this money and will have around 15 million ether. Like realistically. They're also not the only company doing it. There are other companies who have the exact same aspirations. This is not just like a Tom Lee thing. No. They all want the exact same thing. So by the time, if this level of accumulation continues, by the time we get to December, January, or February, we are going to hear that there's no ether left to actually buy. I keep trying to warn people, and I know some people just don't want to pay attention. Also in the news as well, South Korean retail investors are selling off their big tech shares, such as Tesla and Alphabet, in favor of Ethereum-related stocks. This was reported by the Korean Economic Daily, citing information from their version of the SEC. Yes, can you at all imagine what they've been buying? Yeah, they've been buying shares of Bitmine and a number of other Ethereum-related companies as of late. We are definitely in some kind of a weird paradox world where even like stocks of cryptocurrency companies are doing extremely well at the exact same time, which we also haven't necessarily seen years ago. Sometimes we'd get good news about Coinbase or, oh gosh, remember all the Cathie Wood news we used to get? Cathie Wood is a Bitcoin max. I wouldn't say maximalist. She's somewhere up there. I assume she has a lot of it. Her company was in the news 3 times a week about her just buying Coinbase stock, and it was like, oh wow, oh, you made a profit? Wow, that's really cool. How exceptional. Anyway, yeah. When I said the world, this is happening everywhere. These companies are doing extremely well simply by announcing that they're going to be getting into crypto, and when they announce that they've bought crypto, their share prices skyrocket. So I think this phenomena will continue for quite some time, especially when prices basically do a 3, 4, 5x if all this buying continues. That's the Ethereum buying a lot of news. And yeah, let's move on. Oddly enough, also in popular news as well, it's like, oh, cool, that's kind of awesome. Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy has apparently announced another expansion of their Bitcoin treasury. Yeah, this is a weird one. They only purchased 155 Bitcoin. MicroStrategy has a strong legacy of announcing they purchased 1,200 Bitcoin. They purchased 27,000 Bitcoin. Remember those? It was like 5 weeks ago. Yeah, they always buy huge, large numbers of Bitcoin. I assume something else is happening behind the scenes because aren't they still accumulating for like that? What was it, like 70 billion? No. Wasn't it 80 billion? I don't remember. They wanted a very large amount of money to buy up some BTC. In a new post on Twitter, Michael Saylor revealed the latest purchase completed by the company. To the buy involved 155 Bitcoin, has come after a break from accumulation last week. Yeah, we haven't really heard a lot of MicroStrategy news. I have a big question mark. We were hearing about them all the time, and I know that the other companies announcing that they were buying crypto kind of pushed them out of the news. And maybe, you know, people just like to hear about newer companies and like expanding in different ways. But yeah, MicroStrategy themselves, they haven't really been in the news a lot. I almost said Micro Saylor. Michael Saylor was in the news. He was on a panel recently. What was that about? I think he was talking about Bitcoin's price. People keep repeating and mimicking that he said that he believes that Bitcoin is going to $27 million a coin, but there was something else he was in the news for. I don't remember what it was. I don't know. Cool. I kind of, you know, once again, I'd rather have normal people in the space than, because MicroStrategy is also near 700,000 Bitcoin at this point. For those of you who don't know it, yeah, that's a real number. MicroStrategy almost is holding 700,000 Bitcoin, and BlackRock is very close to 800,000 Bitcoin. So that's not dystopian at all. You know, that'd be weird, right? Well, I think that's going to do it for this video, everyone. I do hope that you've all enjoyed. I do hope you all are doing well. Hope you're all having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever the heck you might be. I do hope that it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.